Yeah, we are from the capital equipment manufacturing, and we believe and we are proud that, a robust automotive industry, we have a strong role to play, because at the end of the day, it's about supply chain. And I believe over the last 20 years, the competitiveness of, specifically in the two-wheeler and the small car market that we've seen, is largely because of the hard work that has been put in by this supply chain. The development of the supply chain, I believe, is what it is. And we have a very, very strong presence in the tier 2, tier 3 manufacturers. And this is the sector that's really vulnerable. Again, when I say vulnerable from many points, of course, they have got limited investments, and they also have limited bandwidth of leadership and management. So you typically have owners in the first line who are kind of keeping customers satisfied, supply chain in line, just in time, and those kind of initiatives. And you have another set of people that are looking at the numbers, the invoices, the government, the statutory, the governance. So when it really comes to technology, this is where they need support. And this is one area where we've been trying to play a bigger role than just supplier of machines and equipment, which is, hand holding, training, process capabilities, some support with tooling, work holding, because these are those finer aspects that distinguish and improves productivity. And ultimately, if the tier 2 and tier 3 are just making chips instead of making profits, then the whole sector and the the productivity of the entire country and the productivity of the product into which these components go into, sub-assemblies, are going to come into the picture. So we believe, being capital equipment, right now the worry is not about new capacity. The worry is about, are we utilizing the capacity that we already have? So from the capital equipment, and especially from the machine tool sector, we believe that the next 1 year is going to be extremely tight and bad times for us from a sales perspective, because nobody's really going to be looking at adding capacity. It's about utilizing capacity. So we think that we should strengthen ourselves in playing a bigger and bigger role in supporting the tier 2, tier 3 with training, with services, with some kind of retooling as and when required. Because again, when we talk of social distancing, when we talk of new norms, we're actually talking of lesser people doing the same, because again, the capacity is going to be picked up. So you will have more equipment and you need to get the best out of them. So already we have been working with customers and trying to restart machines. What's the proper process to do it? I mean, all of a sudden things just stopped one fine day or one fine week. So right now, the last 2 weeks, what has been happening in those areas where there has been permissions, of course, some of our customers are in the essential supplies, medical and things like that, where we're supporting. But the role that we're playing right now is education, training, hand-holding, and support to help and get the tier 2 and the MSME specifically to get ready for business. That's what's happening right now. Again, there was also a question, and building up on what Mr. Patel, Mr. Ganesh Mani, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi have all said, VUCA, flexibility. See, one very interesting and important point that we're understanding is flexibility is also openness and flexibility inside the minds. For example, I personally believe, and whether it's in my own organization and listening to all the panelists, and I'm sure among the attendees, Zoom was always there, meetings were always there, Teams were always there. But the kind of use that we've made in the last, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, that was a mindset flexibility and a push to bring about that change. That has really happened. Again, this poll issues of can we become number one, 97% confidence that manufacturing will come, VUCA, red, green. See, we have the ability to change, but again, right, wrong, good, bad, I don't want to make sweeping generalizations here, but there needs to be an impetus and a stimulus to change. And humankind normally changes faster, better in times of difficulties rather than in times of success. Many of the companies, including our own companies, we tend to make more what shall I say, take it easy or errors when things are good. And the best comes out in all of us only in times of trouble. So coming to your question of what we could do, how we could do, a very simple mindset change. Again, whether it's for selling of cars or whether it's for selling of machines or whether it's for servicing of cars or whether it's for our own machines, see, we want to keep the customer happy and satisfied. Now, how to set a machine, how to level a machine, how to commission a machine, how to check a neutral phase and to start up a machine. For years, every instruction manual had that information. People could look at it and people could do it. Our own people could do it. But we believed, again, it's our own belief that customer service means you pick up a phone and you say, look, this is not happening. And somebody would jump on a motorcycle or a car or whatever, rush to the customer, make sure that it was done. And those who could do face to face, because we genuinely believed that helping somebody means we had to physically go there and help them. So this changeover of being more disciplined or having systems, again, all this IoT is surfacing of problems, putting it in a common place, somebody looking at those common problems and from distance giving the right information and how to do it so that the person on the spot is the best. See, always the problems are best known to the people who are on the spot. Now, how does the support reach to them and how mentally they are flexible to take that information and act on it? So a lot of digitization, which was already there. I mean, all of us had websites, all of us had features on the machines, but from a customer perspective to look at that, and even from a company perspective to make it even more user friendly, even more simple, let's say animation, let's say, putting information in a way such that somebody could self-learn. Now, these are those aspects that we are trying to get better and better and also put a lot of focus on, because earlier when we were doing it, if the customer response was not responding to it and they still believed, come here, okay, I have a line which has got a just-in-time problem which is not happening. So whether it was a part supplier, somebody would rush there and somebody would look at it, because everybody believed that the problems had to be sorted at the spot and everybody had to physically be at the spot. So this awareness that you can still do better, maybe far better, provided you know where what is. And one of the wonderful things about this digitalization is discipline, a place for everything, keeping things somewhere, which again, we all knew exactly like what Gandhi Saab said, VUCA, we knew it, but we kept it such that it was physical access was better, but to keep it from a digital access.
Correct.
So those kind of initiatives are happening across, not just us, all the companies, I'm sure, who are looking at this, and the realization of, okay, COVID comes back. Yes, we would all love to go out on a holiday and sit inside an aeroplane and go to a restaurant and have food. But even from a business perspective, you can have far more productive meetings. You can solve problems more if information is classified, arranged, available, can be retrieved, which digitization enables. So we are looking at digital tools, because ultimately what the customer wants, he wants the machine to run. He wants to know what to change. Now, a lot of this, both in terms of by data, by drawing, by 3D, by animation, if you are able to provide, and if it is simple to learn and people can do it themselves, then the best people to help us are ourselves. So this is another flexibility that I believe the situation is bringing, and we are looking at it more and more deeply. From capacity perspective, again, the issues like, yes, we have machines now, connecting to the machine digitally, having machines at different places so that they could be turned off, turned on, and hiring of capacity, not just buying of capacity. These are the kind of tools that we are trying to work on, such that somebody could have a machine physically located at the customer end, but then he pays for it only when he uses it. And there's a methodology by which, okay, he's used it for 2 hours, and it's all possible in today's situation with the technology that's available, that these kind of things can be tracked. Somebody sitting somewhere could turn them on, turn them off. It could be monetized in that perspective. So these are some of the initiatives that we are trying to work on. Digitization is playing a big part. And of course, these are, see, compared to the West, to India, when we talk of automation, when we talk of Industry 4.0, there the focus is different because they don't have people. Here, our focus should be different because we have people. So the idea of all of this is about how do we make the people more productive, not to displace the people, because there still there are certain decisions that can be taken better by a person, but how do we enable it, and then how do we bring in digitization to make these decisions? So these are the areas in which that we are trying to work on. So we have 52 locations across the country, and earlier our track record is to respond to a problem within 4 hours and to solve a problem within 8 hours, because it's capital equipment and machines being down means money lost. Now we're trying to see whether they could be further shortened and look at it, doing it digitally, so that we make capability building at the customer end is something that we are trying to make stronger and stronger. I just like to, I mean, exactly, communication, right communication. See, the second, another extremely important, see, a sense of belonging is very, very important. The worry, the lack of confidence is because they want to belong somewhere. And if you really look at things, I don't believe that if you cross a road or go in front of a train, you're bound to meet with an accident. So what are those rules? What are these new rules? And then what are the, changes that people are voluntarily doing, and what changes that we must habituate ourselves to living with this new norm. So a lot of positive reinforcement, transparent communication about the difficulties, the situation, and also the only way to go about it, or the most probable way to go about it. See, we've had pandemics in the past. Okay, the memories are a little further away, but if you read and if you share those stories, and businesses didn't stop, man has faced with many, many problems. And even today, fortunately, from an Indian perspective, we are still better off than, again, it's all comparative. So we got to keep doing what we've got to go doing, find safer, better ways. That reinforcement periodically and persuasively needs to be made.